Alright, we kind of lied to you a little bit here. I thought I was going to be doing a combining of the oats video here, but we actually had a rain day. And we ended up working in the shop here yesterday. We're back to combine right now. I'm going to be able to finish this today. And I just had to jump out of the combine at a flat stone that came up onto the knife bar here. So we're going to toss this guy out of the way here. Okay, so we grabbed that stone before it made it into the stone trap, and we'll get back to combining here momentarily. We've got about 18 acres left here yet. These are pretty good oats. I actually thought that they were going to be all full of freaking grass in here. We've had a heck of a time this year with weed pressure, both in the oats and in the wheat, just because of the type of the growing season it was here. But these are pretty clean. They've been yielding pretty well. So we're going to roll into the rest of the video. The next video will be a combining video. Tim ended up putting recap tires on a truck here yesterday. We did some various other service work things in the shop. That's all this video is going to be. So thanks for watching, folks. We will get into a combining video next video after this one. Thanks for watching. Alright, this is what we have going on today. Tim's putting new set of recaps on the C5. The tires that are on here now are Hercules. Oh, what the heck are they? An H302. These are an oil field rubber, and they're getting down to the point where they're starting to fall out of being legal. So we're putting these Goodyear the Goodyear recaps on now. Now these caps were bought quite a while ago. Have you guys heard any of the controversy around Goodyear here lately? It was about a week ago. They had some bolting that came out, and I don't know if it was for their employees or what, but they more or less weren't allowed to wear clothing or hats or anything like that with any political garb on it. Mainly anything that promoted Trump, you know, because they must all be left-leaning. But anything that had Black Lives Matter or anything like that on there, that was okay. But in their statement, they said that it wasn't political, because BLM is not political.
No, that's not political.
No, that's not political at all. But there's a pretty good boycott going around now with Goodyear. But yeah, so we have kept track of the miles that we've been putting on these various tires. These casings here that were capped were a Chinese tire. And well, we'll just step back a ways. These Hercules tires, I got 19,157 miles out of them, and they cost me 19 cents a mile to run them. The Chinese tires as well, I got 11,880 miles out of them, and they cost me 23 cents a mile. And the Goodyear cap that I have used on here, I got 14,736 miles out of them, and they cost me 11 cents a mile to run those. The Bandig cap that we used to use before the Goodyear cap, I got 17,686 miles out of them, and they cost me just under 10 cents, just a little over 9 cents a mile to run those. And then I got 1,156 hours on the Hercules tires, 706 on the Chinese tires, 934 on this style Goodyear cap. And then I don't remember the hours. I didn't have that written down for the Bandig cap. But that's a rundown on what these tires cost to run on these trucks. And a 10-wheeler, we got actually better mileage out of 10-wheeler tires, and we don't know why, because they're usually running heavier than what would be on the road tractor. You know, the only thing I can think of is the little more slippage maybe with the road tractor in the driveway and whatever. So we're going to run over here and we're going to look at this axle that came out of the 8120. Now some of you had wondered, how could something like that break, and abuse, and it's not abuse. And this is what we're going to show you. This is where the bearing rides on the axle, and if you look right there, it had been cut with a torch. Now, when Casanova did the brakes on this tractor, they did not replace this bearing. So this has been like that for a while. And a friend of mine who works as a mechanic seen my video. He didn't see this part of the axle, but he says, I bet you that they cut this bearing on this axle, and just the heat alone, not only the cut, but the heat alone is enough to weaken that axle. I got quite a few comments, people noticing the discoloration in this axle right here. Now, they might have put a good deal of heat on this before that, but just by hitting it with the torch, it was enough to weaken this axle. Now, we don't know who did it. It doesn't matter. This is something that might have been done before we had the tractor. I talked to our mechanic about it, and I said, you know, that should be cause for concern not to do that. And it's actually in John Deere's bulletins not to put any heat near this part of the axle. And it's not a John Deere flaw, and it is by no means a flaw of Casanova equipment or anything, because there's been other guys that have worked on this tractor, and I don't remember when this bearing had been replaced. So that's a little bit of a story behind that axle there. I wish I had a little bit more of this information when I did the video on that tractor when we were, you know, pulling stuff apart and putting it back together. So we're getting ready to put seedings in. Nate's gonna go over and hook the 7290 to the grain drill. He's done a service on that. And we're just getting around to getting this transmission in truck 12. If you remember right, we were working on this a while ago, and the boys could not get the transmission in it. The input shaft on the transmission wouldn't go through the pilot bearing, and we had realized that there must have been something wrong with the bearing itself, and then we ran out of time to put this in, and the boys are just getting that in there now. So they'll have this in by the end of the day. Then we're going to roll a tanker onto this truck. But I've got some stuff to do here today, and we'll roll along with the rest of the video here. Now, some of you had said stuff about putting an air-cooled transmission cooler on this truck to get away from the problems that we've had with this transmission. I've already got a brand new cooler that's going on there. That's what took out the previous transmission, was the coolant going through the transmission, got into the oil of the transmission, because all these coolers is it just has a coil in there, and the coolant goes around the oil as the oil is transferring through the cooler itself, and it developed a leak, and all the coolant started dumping into the transmission. So with this stuff, as some of you have made some comments on how we're rough on stuff, look, we use this stuff, and you're going to run into situations like this if you don't use your stuff. You know, it might take you a lifetime to come across some of the problems that we have had in the past here. But we have probably half the amount of the equipment that we need, and all of our equipment is older, and you run into these situations. A truck like this would be $160,000 or $70,000. And this truck is 2001. So this truck is pretty near 20 years old. And a brand new truck would be in this same condition in 5 years. So let's roll along with the rest of the day here, and we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into. Well, we're working on truck 10. We've got a governor gasket that blew out on the compressor. This is the truck that I switched out the steering gear on about a month ago. So the gasket was weeping on that. That is right here. You can see where it's popped out. Well, it's split. It's actually brittle, but yeah. So rather than just replacing just the gasket, I'm going to go ahead and throw a new governor on there just because I had to take it off anyway, so I might as well just replace it. Truck 12 is just about back together here. They've got the transmission in. Jared's hooking up the air tanks now. He's got a cross member to slam in there. And he's got the drive shafts to hook up. Just about see the transmission on the back side of the engine there. And we'll run around the other side here. And there it is. All nice and gray. Got the PTO on. Right there. That's what drives this hydraulic pump for the hoist and all the manure functions on the tanker. And then he's hooked up that air tank that goes in alongside the fuel tank. The air tank had to come out so that they could drop this transmission out of there. There's about just as much work into everything else as there is just getting the transmission out. This job ain't too bad. It's just this other crap that you've got to contend with to get this stuff out of there. So, yeah. So I just bolted, fastened, whatever, the governor on there. We've just got two air lines to connect here. And then I took the, oh, where the heck is it? Right here. I took the line, the high pressure line coming off the compressor going back to the tank. I took that off. I don't know why, I guess. So I could get in here easier. So we're going to get this hooked back up, and we're going to air it up, make sure the pressure is set right. We've been running like 112 to 115 on these. They just seem to do best that way. And we've also got an exhaust to fix on here. We got a piece of flex pipe. It's got a good old hole in it right up in there. So take this clamp off, cut this pipe here, cut it there, and we'll slam in a new piece of 5-inch flex pipe. Alright, the boys have got this truck 10 or truck 12 all put back together. I had to work on a manure pump a little bit ago, so I missed the last tail end of it here. So they're gonna fire it up, roll it outside, and we're gonna put a manure tank on it. We gotta fix this cable. Well, not we. Travis is gonna fix it. You notice how I always put we in here? In the,
gotta make yourself
you know?
look good, right?
That's right. Bang, bang. Well, they'll let the air pressure build up for a second, and then they'll roll it on out the door here. I'm just checking the shifting on it right now. Reverse works. Forward works. It's got it all there. Should work. All right. All right, so we're just gonna roll in underneath here, and I better set that phone up there before that gets broken. And just cut these clamps is all we gotta do. Alright, there's that one. And there's that one. There's that piece. And there is that one. Okay, so this flex pipe had a spot in it that was wore out. So we're going to run upstairs, grab a section and a couple of clamps and get that on there quick. Now, where this pipe was rotted out right here, it was actually, you could see the exhaust getting right on the battery cables here. So that would have been something that would have more than likely probably caused a fire. Once it melted through these battery cables, and you'd have ground cables running into positive cables. So that wouldn't have been good. So get a piece of pipe, go from here to the muffler. Alright, so I've got a new piece of pipe cut right here. I'm just going to get that on there. Now, it was a flex pipe that I got one time, and it had arrows on it as to which way they wanted the exhaust to flow through it. But that was only on that one piece of pipe I ever seen. And then you could feel the inside of the pipe, and it was rough on one edge of it. So, one edge of these grooves. Never seen that again on any other flex pipe. I don't know if anybody else has seen anything like that, but get this on here. Alright, we got this all replaced. Now we're just gonna fire this up and roll it out the door. That, yeah. That's just cheap stuff. This stuff don't only last a year or so. But it is what it is. So we're gonna pick up our junk, start this up and get it rolled on out of here. Alright, that sounds a lot better now. Governor's not leaking. The exhaust is not leaking. And hopefully we can get through corn silage without any incidents with this truck. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put alfalfa seed in the grain drill. This is where we're going to leave you off in this video. I think it's about long enough here. So I want to thank you for watching, folks, and we will catch you at the next video.